Hello everyone, it's Melissa Arthur from Illuminate Guidance. I'm also the host of the Own Your Inner Authority Facebook group, which if you're not in there already, I hope you'll come and join us. I will post the link for that group in the chat at the end of this video, and I'm going to take a second just to go ahead and share this into my group so the ladies in there can see what we're doing here. So I am in my home office today working on filming for my new online course, filming a few videos for lessons. And I just wanted to hop in here and share with you a little bit about the negativity bias of our brain, because I've noticed that it's true for me, it's true for most of my friends, it's true for a lot of my clients that we really suffer and experience so many negative thoughts throughout the day. And that, I feel like sometimes, our mind gets on this hamster wheel and we are just constantly dealing with negative thoughts, even, in situations where there really isn't anything that bad going on. And not only do we suffer from those, we kind of judge ourselves and beat ourselves up, and a lot of our new agey cultural dialogue tells us about positive mindset and that we need to cultivate this, and that there's something wrong with us if we're not able to think positive all the time. And yes, I absolutely believe it's true that we need to be deliberate about cultivating positive mindset, but I also want to just make it extra clear that negativity bias is an evolutionary function that developed in a long time ago for our protection and safety. And it's something that's built in, it's something that's hardwired into our brain. And so, if you're not able to consistently just switch your thoughts to sparkly unicorns and rainbows every time you want to, it's not your fault. And it is also possible to change the pathways in our brain to be more positive. And so that's the good news. It's not your fault. Everybody has negative thoughts. Most of our thoughts are negative. And it's an unpleasant experience that we can be deliberate. There are practices that we can use to change that. But in the meantime, just being aware of this and understanding how our brain works and why this is happening is, I think, really helpful. So in my health coaching practice at the clinic this week, I had a couple of clients come in who we have long-term goals and we have short-term goals, and we check in on them in the beginning of the session. And, we're looking at their goals. They, 90 to 100% met every goal that they set out to do. They're making progress, they're doing great. And so, we check that off. And then we get into a conversation, the coaching conversation, and over and over, they're talking about how they feel so disappointed that they didn't, accomplish everything they set out to do, and that these goals that we set for months from now, they haven't accomplished yet. Well, it's only been like a week. And so 2 times yesterday, I had to take a break and say, okay, let's take a step back. Let's really acknowledge what you did accomplish here, because naturally our brains go to that place where we just over-focus on what we didn't do, what's wrong, what happened that was not what we wanted to have happen, and that we have to really make a conscious effort to acknowledge what went right, to look at the positive in our lives, and to actually we can rewire and change the pathways in our brain when we are deliberate about that. But I was thinking that happened twice yesterday, and then on my way home I noticed how much it happens in my own life. I was thinking about my business and how I'm working on some big projects right now, and a lot of them have a lot of moving parts and pieces, and they're just big. The learning curve is steep, and sometimes I look at the list of things that I need to do that maybe I don't even know how to do yet, or that I have to figure out yet, and just think, oh, I have all these negative thoughts about where I am with it. So I just challenge myself to think about where I was last year at this time, and really focus on what I've accomplished and what's changed, what I've learned, what's different, what I've built. And I thought, okay, you really need to do that more often. And so just, to take a look behind the scenes of, how our brain developed in prehistoric times when our brain was evolving, we were living in a very unsafe environment. And so many things about the way our brain is designed have to do with simply keeping us safe. And so if you think about, the carrots and sticks of our life, the sticks being the things that, are the bad things and the negative things, and the carrots being the things that are good and pleasurable and positive, that, in the scheme of things, if you go about the world and you get, in some kind of danger and you experience a stick, then your life is over. You can't go on and pass on your genes. You can't continue living, and everything's done. If you go through your life and you miss a few carrots, a few nice, berries along the trail or whatever, you'll live another day. There'll be a lot more carrots. And so your brain doesn't focus that much on the things that are carrots, those positive things in your life. It is overdeveloped to focus on the things that are sticks. And it's for a simple reason. It's to keep you safe. And it records those memories so that you can be sure to have quick reactions if those bad things ever happen again. And so, it's no wonder our fear response is always on high alert, and we're finely tuned to overfocus on those negative things. And there is a lot in my online courses and some of the meditation practices that I teach at my studio. There are many practices that we can use because of what we now know about neuroplasticity, that we can reroute some of the thought pathways in our brain to smooth the way for more positive thoughts and make it less likely that everything's always going to go toward that negativity bias. And those things are very powerful and very positive, and things we don't have time to go into today. But I do think that starting with awareness, starting with just the knowledge that, okay, I accept that my brain is hardwired toward the negative. And when I'm experiencing negative thoughts, to notice that that's happening, to give myself some grace, a little bit of a break, to say, what, everybody has negative thoughts. This is how my brain is wired. This is not a great experience, but this is what's happening. And to find a way to reframe your experience as much as you can, to acknowledge, to, like I did with, looking at my business over the past year, to go back over, okay, what have I accomplished? What is different for me now? What am I learning? How am I growing? And to really give yourself some deliberate time, some deliberate space to feel those carrots, to wire that experience into your brain, because it really does make a difference. And that is, a practice that is finely tuned over time. But I just wanted to kind of hop on here in case any of you have been experiencing that, or have been feeling like, everybody says I just need to think positive and I'll be able to manifest unicorns and rainbows all over the place. And, in some ways that's true, but it's a little easier said than done, right? So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I am so looking forward to launching my online courses later this season. There's so much more in store for you. And so stay tuned. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'll see you next time.